For many men, erectile dysfunction is deeply embarrassing. It feels like a direct insult to their manhood, their ego. It's even worse if their partner isn't supportive. Men who come to me with this challenge often blame it on age. To that, I ask them one simple question. Would it be ridiculous to say that there are men who are well into their 50s and beyond who still enjoy a vibrant sex life without having to depend on herbs and medication? The answer to that is always no, sometimes reluctantly. The reason many men are hesitant to answer confidently is that it's hard to imagine a vibrant sex life when one is battling with erectile dysfunction like they are. So they go online. They read that erectile dysfunction is due to low testosterone, and that paves the way for countless programs and solutions that promise to boost testosterone. But they never stop to ask one basic question. What actually caused the low testosterone in the first place? My name is Dr. Etuket from Vigorized, where we help people manage their blood sugar and maximize their energy without having to depend on medication. One thing which is absolutely central to the way we help people is that we focus on addressing the root causes rather than merely dealing with symptoms. Why? Because I strongly believe that if one learns to adequately address the root causes of metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and in many cases erectile dysfunction, they can dramatically improve and in many cases even reverse these conditions so they can go on to live a happier, fuller, and healthier life. On the other hand, I also believe that if people continually neglect the root causes of these conditions, they'll need to take more and more medication. And in many cases, the more meds you take, the more problems you make. I do appreciate that erectile dysfunction has many causes. Today, however, I want to focus on one particular pathway I've commonly seen in my medical practice for now over a decade. That is low testosterone. So, does low testosterone contribute to erectile dysfunction? Yes, it does. But in many cases, that's not where the story begins. Think of a tree. Many people focus on the fruit, low testosterone, but hardly anyone focuses on the root, which is buried under the ground. Let's learn what the root cause actually is. Enter with me into the web of bondage. The problem usually starts with one eating the wrong type of food. So let's call that the wrong nutrition. The wrong nutrition is going to cause one's insulin levels to rise. So elevated levels of insulin. And if this happens long enough, over months to years, somebody is going to start storing fat gradually. Initially, they store it under their skin, where it really doesn't have much of a problem, apart from putting more weight on your body, so more weight on your joints, your hips, your knees, your ankles. Yes, which can be a problem. But in terms of metabolic health, not really much of a problem. However, if you continue to do the wrong thing, you eventually start storing fat around your intestines, what is called visceral fat. And this visceral fat contributes to belly fat. For men particularly, one thing I've found after working with clients for now over a decade is that if their belly isn't flat, their visceral fat levels are at best borderline high and at worst dangerously high. Now, many people feel that having a big belly is something which just simply negatively affects your confidence, how you look. Very few people actually grasp the extreme dangers that come with letting a big belly go unchecked. Let's see what these extreme dangers are. Elevated visceral fat levels are going to contribute to inflammation in the body. And inflammation is going to cause one's cells to stop responding to insulin well, a condition called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is going to result in low testosterone levels. And low testosterone is going to cause erectile dysfunction. So as you can see, low testosterone is way down in the chain. It's not what started things. Further still, one of the functions of testosterone is that it improves insulin signaling. It improves how one's cells respond to insulin. Therefore, low testosterone levels are going to cause insulin resistance. Insulin resistance causes elevated levels of blood sugar, and these high blood sugar levels damage nerves. Adequate function of the nervous system is required for one having a strong erection. Reduced stimulation of the nervous system is going to contribute to erectile dysfunction. Insulin resistance is also going to cause elevated levels of triglycerides and low levels of HDL cholesterol, the combination of which is going to increase on the risk of development of plaques within the arteries, particularly the arteries supplying the penis. Blood flow to the penis is essential for one having a strong erection, and therefore This further worsens erectile dysfunction. So those are just a couple of ways in which insulin resistance contributes to erectile dysfunction. Quick interruption. If you're finding value in this video, then click the thumbs up icon just below and hit the subscribe button so that YouTube can know that this is valuable content and share it to many more people. Let's help spread the message of good health. All right, back to the video. Another function of testosterone is that it actually reduces on the levels of inflammation in the body. Now, with low testosterone, you're going to have elevated levels of inflammation. And then inflammation is going to cause insulin resistance and then low testosterone. So you're seeing much of this vicious cycle of events. Insulin resistance causing low testosterone, and then low testosterone causing insulin resistance. Another function of testosterone is that it reduces on the levels of visceral fat. Having low testosterone is therefore going to mean that a man is going to have higher levels of visceral fat than he otherwise would have. Now, these cells which form visceral fat release an enzyme called aromatase. Aromatase is going to cause conversion of testosterone, the main male hormone, to estradiol, the main female hormone. These elevated levels of estradiol relative to the main male hormone, testosterone, are going to result in erectile dysfunction because testosterone is central to having a strong erection. Now, I must talk about other lifestyle habits that come into play when it comes to low testosterone. One thing I must mention is the issue of stress. Now, there are many kinds of stress. It could be social stress, psychological stress, work-related, you name it. But I want to talk about a specific kind of stress which very few people talk about. That is physiological stress. If a person deprives their body of energy, either by eating too little or by burning too many calories, their body will not have enough energy to carry out its metabolic processes effectively. This will stress it, hence physiological stress. Examples of things that cause physiological stress include eating too little. Now, whether it is innocently missing meals, as in the case of people who get too busy at work, or intentionally missing meals, as in the case of extreme fasting, or things like juicing, depending on supplements to replace whole foods, or taking drugs which suppress hunger. For example, the GLP-1 receptor agonists like Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro, etc., or taking on weight loss surgeries or bariatric surgeries like the gastric sleeve, which either work to suppress hunger or to increase on the rate of movement of food through your intestinal canal so that less of it gets absorbed, which is basically like not eating enough, or illnesses which cause vomiting and diarrhea, which result in less amount of food absorbed, even if somebody is eating, or on the side of exercise, working out too many days a week for extended periods of time, such that one's body cannot recover effectively. The particular kind of exercise which is notorious for this is long duration cardio. So look at the aerobics, running on the treadmill, jogging on the road, dancing in the case of Zumba, etc., spin, and many other kinds of cardio exercise. All these things are going to cause one's body to produce elevated levels of a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone which helps a person modulate a stressful episode in their lives. But cortisol causes storage of visceral fat. Cortisol also directly opposes insulin, hence contributing to insulin resistance. And then cortisol also opposes testosterone, hence worsening erectile dysfunction. Other notable mentions of things which can be problematic are 1, alcohol, and then fructose, which is present in table sugar, soft drinks, and even in natural sources, things like honey and fruits. These together directly contribute to storage of visceral fat. And then one last thing which contributes directly to low testosterone levels is plant-based diets. Yes, I know you've probably heard that plant-based diets are the best intervention to have ever happened to medicine, and that cholesterol is bad. It causes heart attacks, it causes stroke, and that you need to eat less of red meat. It puts you at risk of heart attack, stroke, cancer, you name it. Don't believe everything which you hear. Now, the cholesterol issue is a very big topic, and I can't exhaust it in this video. But luckily, I've actually recorded a video about that, which I'll link either in a card up here or in the description section below. Give it a watch after this video. The thing which you need to understand is that cholesterol isn't bad. Cholesterol is absolutely essential for life. Cholesterol is an integral part of the cell membranes of our cells. Cholesterol is a major building block of most of the steroid hormones, particularly in this case, testosterone. And this is the problem with plant-based diets. Cholesterol can only be gotten from animal products. Meat, milk, eggs. You cannot get cholesterol from plant-based products. And that's why people who take on vegetarian or even worse, vegan diets are going to have to supplement this. But remember, supplementation comes with an extra cost. And then the person who takes supplements for this still misses out on the vast array of nutrients that the person who is eating whole meat, whole eggs, whole fish is actually getting. And many of these nutrients are absolutely essential for health. Essential meaning if you don't eat them, your body cannot make them, which means you must get them from the food. Personally, I am totally, and I mean totally, against vegetarianism and even worse, veganism. I hope you can begin to see that low testosterone isn't the real problem. This is why I believe that the first question when a man has erectile dysfunction should not be, how do I boost my testosterone? How do I boost my sex drive? Which herb should I take? Instead, the better question should be, why did my testosterone get low in the first place? Because if you only try to address the low testosterone without dealing with the root cause, which is heavily centered on the wrong nutrition, you may get momentary relief, a burst of energy, but you've simply put a band-aid on the wound, which is simply delaying the problem. It is bound to come up months or years to come. And this is why many men find themselves moving from one herb to the next, one medication to the next, without ever getting lasting results. Many of the men who sign up for our Vigorize program and report erectile dysfunction as one of the challenges which they are facing notice significant improvement of these symptoms within 1 to 2 months of the program. And this only goes on to get better and better. If you're a man who's battling with an ever-increasing belly and erectile dysfunction, would you be offended if I said that maybe it's time to stop chasing symptoms and short-term cures and start addressing the root causes? If you're the man whose answer to this question is no, and you're 100% ready to deal with this problem once and for all, I invite you to click the link in the description section below or in the pinned comment below, which will take you to a page where you can book a discovery session with me. During this meeting, I'll get a better understanding of what your condition is, identify what's causing insulin resistance, and identify what the root causes of the problem for you are. And then together, we'll map out a path which will help you deal with this condition sustainably. So go ahead, click the link, book your discovery session. We'll speak soon.